I went to Japan last year and I was 19 at the time, 20 now for context. I'm a college student. I was living alone at the time. And that trip fundamentally changed what I want to do for my career, where I want to live in the future, and what I want to spend my money on. I can really see how being alone on the trip allowed me to really think about what I wanted to do. I was going to community college. Like I mentioned, I was living alone, which is pretty uncommon for 19-year-olds. I was working three jobs: a tutoring business, I was a store manager, and then I was also a swim instructor. And so I was doing a lot of things at the time, and I was still deciding what I wanted to do with my major, my degree. At the time, I was a computer science major, and I guess my default was that I was going to go into software development, right? It was going to be an easy cash grab, easy, good income. After this trip, honestly, I learned really quick, and I guess this kind of leads into the first point, which is my career change. I found out very quickly that I want to travel more in the future. I had kind of a hint that I enjoyed those things, but it was this trip that really stapled for me. Like, damn, I really want to be traveling countries in the future. I want to be exploring new cultures. I don't want my life to revolve around work. And so after I came back from this trip, I ended up transferring to a 4-year school where I am now. I am majoring in math now. And so while I was in Japan, I took a long time to reflect about, did I actually like computer science? Did I like coding? Was it just something that I was doing just for, the income? And at the time, obviously AI was out. People knew about it. I wouldn't say there was as much of a fear as there is now for it, but that was definitely in the talks. And I started to really reflect on that. Did I want to go into a career where a lot of people are being laid off, where there's a lot of uncertainty? And so I made a kind of career change, a career shift into being a pure math major, where I decided I want to become an actuary. I want a job where I can work 40 hours a week and still have time to, travel, spend time with my family, do anything else outside of work, and not have work be my life. The second thing that I realized in Japan was that I don't want to live in the US for the rest of my life. Don't get me wrong, I want to buy a house at some point. I want to own property, but for the most part, I do want to spend some part of my life outside the US in some other country, with my girlfriend, eventually fiance and wife. Like, I don't want to just live in the US, or I don't want to be constrained to the US. I want to be able to have a vacation home somewhere else. For the most part, everything you read online about Japan, about the people there, the culture is pretty much 100% true. The people there are so peaceful. I mean, train stations are super quiet. No one's talking to you. No one's even really looking at you. A lot of the videos that I took that I later posted on like a separate channel for like a vlog that I did, nobody was looking at me. Like, if you're in the US and pretty much any city and you just, whip out your phone and you start recording, you're going to attract some attention in public. In Japan, I did not have any issues with recording or taking photos. Like, people did not care. People mind their business. They're not even looking at your phone. Most of the time, people have like masks on in the train stations. They don't say a word. They're not even on phone calls. And that kind of like peaceful, chill environment is just a complete breath of fresh air compared to, places like LA where I was living, or, I haven't been to New York, but especially right now with the finals going on, like, it's just crazy, comparing those two sides of, completely different two sides of the world there. If that's something you enjoy, something you kind of want to tap into or experience, once in your life, I highly suggest you visit Japan. The last thing that I really took away from my trip was that I do not want to be blowing my money on depreciating assets. I mean, Japan is a very frugal country compared to the US. I mean, in the US, we are constantly over consuming. We, 3 meals a day, everyone has cars. Very few people take mass transit. Everyone needs more. Everyone's always buying things. Amazon plays a huge role in that. Just the internet plays a huge role in that. Japan is extremely frugal for our standards. Like, apartment sizes, house sizes, those are all a third of the size of US house and apartments. Mattresses are much smaller. I mean, even the hotel that I stayed in was pretty small, for the price that I paid. That's just how they do things over there. They don't overconsume. They don't overdo anything. They live very frugally. Obviously, this doesn't apply to every single Japanese person, but for the most part, if you visit the country, you're going to see that pattern. So it really taught me that I don't want to be blowing my money on cars. I don't want to be blowing my money on, crazy things that are going to depreciate in value. If anything, the first big purchase that I'm going to make is something that I'm going to be able to get value back in very quickly or over time, within a 5-10 year time horizon. And so most importantly, I want to spend money on experiences that I can, as cliche as it is, I want to spend money on experiences, that I can take with me anywhere. Those are definitely the main things that I took away from my trip. Obviously, there are a lot of cons about the country that I did not go into in this video. I do want to put kind of a disclaimer there that there are negative things about Japan. Obviously, the work life, you can't do certain drugs. There's a lot of things about the country that I didn't go into in this video that's, going to require another video in the future for me to go over. I also encountered a little bit of a financial struggle after my trip. I'll cover in another video as well. But for the most part, I hope this video can kind of put into perspective the things that, maybe you can take away from a trip to Japan. It is a very safe trip. It's a very safe country, especially for your first time traveling alone. I traveled alone and I had an amazing time. I might even, put a few clips towards the end of my trip. But for the most part, I highly suggest visiting Japan, just to get a reflection on where you're going in life, or maybe, just to do a solo trip, why not? So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. More videos to come. I'm going to try upload maybe like once a week, once every 2 weeks or something like that. And feel free to leave any feedback you guys have for me in the comments. Peace.